the gospel they burned for 1,700 years. The true story of the Nag Hammadi discovery. December 1945, Upper Egypt. A farmer named Muhammad Ali al-Saman is digging at the base of a cliff called Jabal al-Tarif, searching for fertilizer for his crops. His mattock strikes something hard. He brushes away the sand. There it is, a sealed earthenware jar, nearly a meter tall, its lid caked with a dark, ancient resin. Muhammad Ali hesitates. In Egyptian folklore, sealed jars can contain jinn. To open one is to invite disaster. But he also knows that sealed jars sometimes contain gold. He raises the mattock and smashes the jar open. No gold flew out. No spirit appeared. Only pages. Ancient papyrus pages flying into the dry desert air like golden leaves. Muhammad Ali had no way of knowing what he had just found. He gathered the pages, took them home. His mother burned some of them for kindling. Others were sold to antique dealers for almost nothing. But those pages that survived would reach scholars in Cairo, then Geneva, then Princeton. And when those scholars finally translated what was written inside, they realized they were reading words that had been deliberately hidden from the world for over 1,700 years. Words that someone, at some point in history, had decided you were never supposed to read. To understand why these texts matter, we need to go back, way back. The 1st century of the Common Era, Palestine under the Roman Empire. A man named Jesus of Nazareth is executed. His followers scatter. And then, against all odds, they begin to multiply. But here is what most people do not realize. Early Christianity was not one thing. It was dozens of things. Hundreds of competing groups, each with their own scriptures, their own understanding of who Jesus was and what he taught. There were the followers of Matthew, of Mark, of Luke, of John. But there were also followers of Thomas, of Philip, of Mary Magdalene, and of a figure called Sophia, wisdom herself. These groups read different scriptures, they performed different rituals, and they had radically different answers to the most fundamental questions of all. What is the nature of God? What is the nature of the human soul? And what does salvation actually mean? One of the most significant of these early Christian movements was the Gnostics. The word Gnostic comes from the Greek gnosis, meaning knowledge, not belief, not faith, direct, personal, experiential knowledge of the divine. The Gnostics believed that each human being carries a divine spark, a fragment of light, trapped inside a physical body in a physical world, created not by the true God, but by a lesser, flawed deity they called the demiurge. They taught that the material world is not the creation of a perfect God, but a prison, and that Jesus came not primarily to die for your sins, but to wake you up, to remind you that the divine spark inside you is real, and that through knowledge, through gnosis, you can find your way back to the true God. That is a very different Christianity from the one most people know today. By the 2nd century, the battle lines were drawn. Irenaeus of Lyon wrote a 5-volume work called Against Heresies, in which he systematically attacked the Gnostics. He argued that only 4 Gospels were legitimate: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Over the following centuries, the Roman Empire converted to Christianity. In the year 367 AD, a bishop named Athanasius of Alexandria wrote a letter listing 27 books, the exact same 27 books that make up the New Testament today. And at the end of that list he wrote, "Let no one add to these. Let nothing be taken away from them." The message was clear. Every other text, the Gospels of Thomas, Philip, Mary, the secret book of John, was to be considered forbidden, heretical. Some of those texts were burned. Others simply vanished, their papyrus rotting in the Egyptian desert. Or so everyone believed. Which brings us back to Muhammad Ali and that jar at the base of the cliff. What he had found was not just a jar, it was a library. 13 leather-bound codices containing 52 separate texts, all of them written in Coptic, the language of early Egyptian Christians. All of them translations of even older Greek originals from the 2nd and 3rd centuries. These were books that monks had hidden in the desert, probably around the year 390 AD, when the persecution of Gnostics was intensifying. They buried them to protect them, and then they died or fled before they could return. For 1,600 years, the jar sat undisturbed in the Egyptian sand, until a farmer looking for fertilizer changed everything. The most famous text in the collection is the Gospel of Thomas. It has no birth narrative, no crucifixion, no resurrection. It is simply a list of 114 sayings attributed to Jesus. It begins with these words: "These are the hidden words that the living Jesus spoke, and Didymos, Judas Thomas, wrote them down." Many of the sayings inside are unlike anything in the canonical Gospels. Some are strange, some are beautiful, some are deeply confrontational. Split a piece of wood, and I am there. Lift up the stone, and you will find me there. If those who lead you say to you, "See, the kingdom is in the sky," then the birds of the sky will precede you. Rather, the kingdom is inside of you, and it is outside of you. The kingdom is inside of you. This is not the Christianity of heaven and hell, of sin and salvation through a priest's absolution. This is a Christianity that says the divine is already within you. Your job is to find it. Then there is the Gospel of Philip. This text explicitly describes Mary Magdalene as the companion of Jesus, the one he loved more than all the other disciples. It says Jesus used to kiss her often. The other disciples, offended, ask Jesus, "Why do you love her more than all of us?" And Jesus answers with a question of his own. The Apocryphon of John, the secret book of John, is perhaps the most theologically significant text in the collection. In it, the risen Jesus appears to John and reveals the true nature of creation. According to this text, the world was not created by the God of love and light. It was created by a being called Yaldabaoth, the demiurge, a flawed, arrogant deity who declared, "I am God, and there is no other God beside me." The Gnostics pointed out that this is almost exactly what the God of the Hebrew Bible says in the book of Isaiah. Their conclusion was radical. The God of the Old Testament and the true God of Jesus are not the same being. When scholars finally translated and published the complete Nag Hammadi library in the 1970s, the academic world had to reckon with something uncomfortable. Gnostic Christianity was not, as the Church Fathers had claimed, a depraved cult invented by madmen. It was a legitimate, sophisticated religious movement that flourished for centuries in the early Christian world. Elaine Pagels wrote, "We now begin to see that what we call Christianity and what we identify as Christian tradition actually represents only a small selection of specific sources, chosen from among dozens of others." A small selection, chosen from among dozens of others. The others were the ones buried in the jar. So, why does any of this matter to you today? The questions the Gnostics asked are the same questions humans have always asked. Why is there suffering in a world supposedly created by a loving God? Is there something inside me that is more than my body? What does it mean to truly know something sacred? The Gnostics had answers, different answers from the ones most people were given. And for nearly 2,000 years, those answers were buried in a jar in the Egyptian desert. Muhammad Ali al-Salman died in 2013. He spoke on camera only once, in 1987. He said he had broken the jar, looking for gold. He did not find gold. He found something that scholars, philosophers, and seekers would spend the next 80 years arguing about, celebrating, and in some cases, fearing. The Nag Hammadi Library now sits in the Coptic Museum in Cairo. You can read every word of it online, translated into dozens of languages, freely available to anyone with an internet connection. The texts are no longer buried. They are no longer forbidden. But here is the thing about forbidden knowledge. It is only forbidden to those who have not yet found it. Muhammad Ali opened a jar looking for gold. What he found was a set of questions that have no easy answers. Questions about the nature of God, the nature of the self, and the nature of the world we live in. Questions that early Christians asked, that Gnostic monks preserved at the cost of their lives, that were buried in the sand for 16 centuries, and that are now, finally, yours to consider. This has been the Gnosis Archive. If you want to go deeper into the Gospel of Thomas, into the Demiurge, into the hidden words of Jesus, those videos are waiting on this channel. Subscribe, and we will see you in the archive.